I am with Elizabeth Dionne, who is the Republican candidate for state treasurer, and I've already apologized to her because she wasn't on my list from Ballotpedia, so I didn't do my research. So I'm going to ask a whole bunch of dumb reporter questions to start with.
There are no dumb questions.
Well, that's a very nice response. I appreciate that.
It's a mother and a teacher response.
So tell me a little bit about your background and why you want to be the next state treasurer.
So my background, first thing to know about me is that I'm the mother of 4 adult children who cannot afford to live and raise their children here in Massachusetts, and neither can their friends or classmates. We have an affordability crisis, and the Treasurer's Office has a direct role to play in that. So I come to this as an attorney, but also a 10-year local elected official in Belmont, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Where I earned a reputation as a relentless reformer. We reformed our finance team. We reformed our budgeting procedures. We implemented long-term budgeting. We changed our zoning to be more business-friendly and to allow more commercial development. Belmont has a AAA bond rating. None of it is enough. Every city and town in Massachusetts, all 351 of them, face a financial tsunami. That's why there's 70 override requests on the ballot this year. And Beacon Hill is the answer. The state budget that just got signed is $64 billion. It'll probably grow to $70 billion. Over the same period of time that the state budget has doubled, local aid's gone up only 25%. It has not kept pace with inflation, and I know this because of 10 years of deep budgeting experience as a member of Belmont's Finance Committee and Select Board. And again, if we can't keep up, nobody can. The reason the Treasurer's Office has a role to play, people don't know this, but the Treasurer's Office is the 4th most powerful office in the state. So House Speaker's first, people are surprised by that, but it's the Speaker, Senate President, then the Governor, and then the Treasurer. But voters have no idea who the Treasurer is or what this office does. There are 13 departments that control nearly 20% of the state budget and hundreds of billions of dollars in assets. One of those departments is the state lottery. The state lottery is the single largest source of unrestricted local aid. So the Treasurer has a unique role to play, a unique voice in advocating for cities and towns in Massachusetts. The state could absolutely find $1.5 to $2 billion next year to return to cities and towns. And that would make all the difference. We are asked to fund the frontline services of public safety, police, fire, education, including special education, near and dear to my heart. I'm the mother of an adult son with autism.
Okay.
And I've been a special education attorney in my past life. Streets, sidewalks, water infrastructure, all of this.
So you're talking about the basics?
The basics.
Infrastructure that municipal government and state government can provide or should provide.
The state government tasks local government with providing, but doesn't provide us the resources. We have the 4th highest property taxes in the nation. We're the 8th highest tax state overall. The state does not have a revenue problem. There's $70 billion, it's record breaking. And you have seen the same headlines that I've seen. There is a significant amount of fraud and waste right now. I'm pretty sure that there's $1.5 to $2 billion that we could find and reprioritize and return to cities and towns to provide these frontline services that residents need and want.
Okay, I know that the state treasurer's office probably doesn't have any direct hand on this, but I have to ask you, as someone who wants to be a state official, over and over and over, those of us who live here see issues with equity.
Oh, the treasurer does have a role in this.
Between East and West.
Oh, yes.
And in fact, just as an example, the whole issue of West-East rail,
yep,
which has been something that's been talked about for over a decade, and which has been talked about in ways that if it can come about in the right way, it could solve some very basic economic development issues.
Yes. I completely agree. Eastern Massachusetts is overcrowded. Let's let people live in Western Massachusetts. It's less expensive, but have a way to get east if they need, but also bring business to the West. I adore the Berkshires. We're not a Cape Cod family. We're a Berkshire family. And we camp in the Berkshires. We don't have a second home there. We have one home that I'm very grateful for. I love Western Massachusetts. For 25 years, our family has camped here every summer at October Mountain State Forest.
So you know we have paved roads and we speak major languages.
But so let me tell you a couple areas where the treasurer can help.
Okay, please.
First of all, the treasurer is over the $120 billion in state debt, second highest per capita in the nation. If we're going to get East-West Rail, we're going to need to bond it. The treasurer will have a role in that.
Okay.
But I am very in favor of bonding for projects like this. Unfortunately, I think there are projects we bond for that are not as obviously beneficial. Rail, that's a critical investment. But other equity issues that the treasurer has a role in, first of all, lottery allocations. So lottery allocations have not been revisited since the 1990s. And there are absolutely members of the House of Representatives who want to reform that, and the current treasurer has stopped it. So I am absolutely committed to ensuring lottery monies disproportionately come from lower income people in rural areas. So at a minimum, you need to be receiving your fair share back in lottery money.
Okay.
Second issue that the treasurer oversees, Massachusetts School Building Authority. We know from a report published last year that the MSBA disproportionately is funding wealthy suburban districts, and rural areas and gateway urban areas are not receiving their fair share of school building funds. So the treasurer actually the treasurer can't do everything.
Of course.
But the treasurer can do a lot more than people realize, and I am absolutely committed to doing what the treasurer can. One other interesting statistic. So we have to submit a lot of signatures to get on the ballot. The incumbent chose her few cities and towns. We got signatures in 251 cities and towns, which is a record for the treasurer's office. We had clerks saying no one has ever come here before to submit signatures for certification.
Sure.
So this is and always has been a statewide campaign for an office that should benefit the entire state.
Okay, I'm going to ask one final question.
Okay.
It's completely self-serving. And that is, I understand that you support reform about how public access TV stations like ours are funded, because
I do.
I want to tell you, as commercial television continues to falter on covering local stuff like what I'm doing here today with you and other candidates and other officials, it's the public access stations like Focus Springfield and Holyoke Media and Amherst Media and folks in Westfield and folks in Chicopee who are picking up the slack on talking about these issues. But yet the funding, the way we are all funded, really needs to be reformed.
So the way that you're funded right now is a small surcharge on cable bills, but fewer and fewer people are using cable and turning to streaming, and the streaming services don't have to pay that surcharge.
Right.
So I am running as a fiscally responsible candidate, but I also believe in fairness. It is unfair for the streamers to get off scot-free. They're using our infrastructure, they should pay. So if we were to charge a similar amount to the streamers that we charge to the cable companies, that would solve the local access funding problem. I am a huge proponent of local access television because in Belmont, where I've been a 10-year local elected official, we literally could not run our local government without Belmont Media Center.
Sure.
Jeff Hansel, who is just a fabulous, fabulous human being. When COVID hit, Jeff Hansel turned on a dime, and within a week or two, we were fully online. Even now, post-COVID, we have stuck with a hybrid model because we have a lot of people who can't get out to select board meetings in the evenings.
Right.
But they want to participate, they want to call in. We run a hybrid town meeting because not everybody can be at town meeting every night. Belmont has a huge town meeting, it's 300 members. So, and I am so committed to local access television that last summer I was the only local elected official who went up to Beacon Hill to testify on behalf of the bill that would have equalized the funding between streaming and cable. And I appeared again in March for a similar hearing. We don't have the money in Belmont's budget to fund what Belmont Media Center does, and we cannot run the government without it. So it is a critically important service. It's how our citizens can remain engaged. I am absolutely committed to democracy, and democracy means providing avenues of engagement for our citizens. So thank you for your work. It is absolutely important, and the treasurer's not directly over local access television, but if I'm on Beacon Hill, I will still be a voice for you.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for coming by, and I hope to see you here a little bit more in Western Mass before the election.
We plan to be here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.